Hey guys, welcome back. Another book review for you this week. And guess what? I finally finished it. Finally finished Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Give you a better look on the cover there. Really good book. Glad that I took 2 weeks to get through it instead of just the one and blazing through it. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And when you read it, it's really, a lot of it makes just an intrinsic kind of sense. So it's one of those books that I would highly recommend, especially for those of you in the entrepreneurial crowd. If you haven't read it yet, you probably should. And essentially, it's seven practices that can really improve just about everything in your life. From relationships to quality of work to your quality of life. If you follow this structure that Mr. Covey lays out in his book, it's something that will definitely improve things. And one thing that I'm going to try and focus on and do going forward here. My business coach had also recommended that I read it, but that's not the whole reason I started reading it. Obviously, that was on my list before I started working with him. But I have a feeling it's going to tie into what we do together rather nicely and really help me accelerate my business and get some things moving. So, I'm trying to think here. Should I kind of list off the seven habits? Let me see if I can find them really quick here. There we go. All right, so the seven habits, just a quick list here for you guys to give you a general gist. The first one is habit one, be proactive. The second is begin with the end in mind, so have a goal in sight. Put first things first. Prioritization and prioritization and those kinds of things. Just management of time and resources. Habit four, think win-win. A lot of us go into situations where we're on a win-lose scenario where we have to win at whatever cost. And that means someone loses, which is not necessarily the best for a lot of the deals that we make. A lot of us will go into lose-win situations where, we're willing to lose face just to get the deal. And in the long run, that's not good for you. Talks a bit about that and some other things. And just how to be present and mindful in those kinds of transactions so that everybody wins out of that scenario. Let's see. Habit five, seek first to understand, then to be understood. That's kind of self-explanatory. There's some good details in there. Habit six, synergize. Find that energy that makes everybody just really do some fantastic work as a team. And habit seven, sharpen the saw, which means the analogy he uses is so you come across a man in the forest who is cutting down a tree. Great. People cut down trees, right? But he just looks exhausted, and he's only like a third of the way through the tree. Let's go up, you ask him, you say, hey, can I help you with that? You look like you're having a hard time. He goes, yeah, I've been at this for 5 hours. And I've got a long ways to go, so if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to get back into it. And so you ask him, well, why don't you take a little bit of downtime and sharpen the saw? I'm sure things would go a lot faster if you did. That's kind of what they're talking about. So instead of to use another adage, instead of beating your head against a brick wall, find the tools you need or hone the skills that you already have to make the process go faster, ultimately. So those are the seven habits in a nutshell. I definitely recommend, as I said. What's on the docket for next week, you may be asking? Well, this week is a book that number of people have recommended to me over the past month or so, and that is StrengthsFinder 2.0 by Tom Rath. And this one, obviously, it's a bit of a light read. Not terribly thick, not a terribly big book, but one that I think is going to help immensely as well in my journey to grow my business and ultimately get myself off the front lines here. Next week, I'll have another review for you for StrengthsFinder. This one shouldn't take me too long to read. And I will also have my results from the test. So you can either pay $20 for the test, the StrengthsFinder's test, or you can pay $20 for the book and the test. And I wanted the book. So yeah. I'll read the book. I'll get back to you guys next week with my thoughts and a little bit of insight into my own personal self in terms of the StrengthsFinder assessment. So until then, stay awesome, guys, and I will see you next time.